Hey Galax here. Today I want to go through 10 bold predictions for Madden 22. Now, I did this last year and I went back, watched the video, brought up my script, and wow, I actually did pretty good. I don't want to break my arm, pat myself on the back, but here were the bold predictions for last year. User rushing, but not how you expect, right? We all saw, by the not how you expect was, we all saw the bull rush ability, El Toro being insane. But user rush, which was kind of something that was used beforehand, became the meta, right? People were shooting gaps not only against the run, and that was great to stop the run because elsewise the run was overpowered. User rushing against the quarterback on blitzes and stuff and getting home fast. Like I said, we'd seen it in many Maddens previously, but it was the meta in 21, and I was very proud of it. And you're like, whoa, haven't we always had user rushing? Not to the extent we had it in 21. Rollout corners would still work. Absolutely true. Match coverage will be used. Match coverage was definitely used and people saw it had some potential. It still was not the meta though. But like prior to this, match coverage was seen nowhere because it was so easy to exploit. But in 21, it was better. It was a little harder to exploit it. And it was used, but not like meta. So that's why I didn't say meta, I guess. You'll enjoy the Legends released. Madden 21 had the best Legend releases of all time. Bar none, Madden 21, best Legends we've ever seen in the game, other than prior to when they had to pay the people. They just put people's images in the game, and then they got sued for it. An ability will be overpowered and not patched. Now, we saw abilities being overpowered. They did a good job patching a lot of them. Like bench press was absurd, one step, that kind of stuff. But the one that was overpowered, not patched, was inside Deadeye. That one, basically you can make any throw on the field and it'll be accurate, perfect. And so, sadly, that's overpowered and not patched at all. Ability will be underpowered and not touched. There's too many to mention. Way too many underpowered abilities. The yard will overtake Superstar KO popularity, but won't be fully fleshed out for years. Absolutely true. I don't know. Superstar KO kind of died. The yard's not exactly super popular either. But that's 21. The NFL season will go on. We'll get Team of the Week like normal. Hey-o! Woo! Franchise mode will actually get looked at this year and we'll have decent updates. The reason I said this is because I was like, I think I said last year, the NFL doesn't care about player safety. And that's why I thought it was going to go on like normal. Franchise mode will actually get looked at this year and we'll have decent updates, but the big changes won't be until next year. Dang! I kill this! MUT will be essentially unchanged from 20 because they spent their time building the park. Was there a lot of changes? I don't know. I mean, we had promos like normal. Like, what changes did we even have? We still had rerolls. The training variety pack, I guess, was the biggest change to MUT. That didn't come out till much later, but that wasn't really, it's just another pack, right? People will like the game. 21, I think we might look back on it fondly, current gen 21. Now, obviously, during the spring, summer, when it gets old, people start hating it because it's, 99 speed everywhere and it doesn't really play that great. And I understand that. But overall, like, the first month of Madden is always the best month of Madden, right? Maybe not for MUT, but for gameplay, absolutely. I think 21 was a fine game. Still a lot of inconsistencies and frustration, especially next gen. It's awful next gen, but that's my 10 bold last year. I was super surprised with how well I did. All right, so let's go to 10 bold predictions this year. I think a lot of people will come around in the movement like they've come around on abilities, right? A lot of people are seeing now abilities. Okay, abilities are a way to make like pocket passers viable, make players that you generally wouldn't use usable because of the archetype system. And I wish they'd iterate further on that and provide more value to like maybe slower players that can get like linebackers need a little bit more. Linebackers lurkers should only be 1 AP. Their hit power and those kind of stuff need to work on linebackers. Like route runner archetypes, great that they get the route running kind of abilities for cheap versus like everybody just using Tyreek over and over. That's all great, right? So movement itself, movement in the 21 beta, and this 10 bold prediction is kind of cheating because I've played a little bit of the beta and I don't know how much they're going to tune before that. They're going to come out with a podcast, I think, here over the next week or two, detailing a little bit of that. But I think the movement's better. I think I don't like it. I don't think it's as fun, but I think I can stand it, right? I think I can stand a next-gen movement. I prefer my video games fun, but it is more quote-unquote realistic. It's just a little bit frustrating when it does look like sometimes your guys are on skates because they kind of like shift on the field and move unnaturally like they're on ice, and they need to cut and change that way. Number 2. A good number of people will prefer previous gen Madden with the old movement, but fewer than the ones that liked it in 21. Okay, so now back to the movement system. This isn't really like a Super Bowl prediction. But I do think previous gen Madden will be more of the arcade style fun. Like a lot of people still really enjoy those old arcade NFL Blitz games. It's just how much more fun, quote unquote, it is than next gen. So like I don't know how bold this is. That one, number 2, I was like, I maybe shouldn't move it down the list, but this isn't a ranked list. But I definitely think a good number of people will still prefer previous gen Madden for that reason. Number 3. Contains still suck, and mobile quarterback / the rollout of the pocket will dominate. It's the same kind of one I made last year with rollout corner still working. I just think they haven't been able to make contains work. I think contains either work too good on like blitzes, right, where the offensive line won't pick them up. It's just frustratingly bad. But like, you just have regular contains in a 4-man rush. It's still too easy to double team, and then like your guy gets like suctioned out on, and like you get out the pocket too easy, or just like they don't even push the pocket up. Like, cause and they've bragged about the pocket forming ability of their pass rush now, but when you have contains, that didn't even work in the beta. So now I put it out on Twitter, and I will say EA, somebody did reach out to me about the contain issue, and I tried to explain to them what it was. So hopefully by launch, they will take a look at it, but I'm a little pessimistic there. Number 4, this isn't bold. I'm sorry. They get a little bit bolder as we go along. Cover 3 will be the meta again. I think cover 2 is too easy to beat in game, just with straight 4 verticals and a vertical release on the outside receiver. So cover 2 is it feels like it's too exploitable in this game, and maybe at some point it'll become meta. And cover 2 is usually meta when a blitz is really good. Now cover 2 could be meta, like they're next gen could have some nasty blitzes because of how bad linemen move. So we could definitely see a cover 2 meta if linemen, are exploited, and defensive linemen are just getting home super quick, or linebackers blitzing through a hole, cornerbacks with the contain blitz getting around the edge really quick. Then cover 2 could totally be it, because they wouldn't have enough time to really exploit down the sidelines 25, 30 yards to get your guy to run before the blitz gets home. But overall, I do think cover 3 will be the meta. It feels like it's been the meta since like Seahawks were the cover 3 meta setters. And we haven't really seen a Tampa 2 meta. Last time we saw that was when Tampa was in Tampa 2 20 years ago. So I think number 6, bold prediction, solos will be much easier on current gen, and you're going to want that version if you're going to grind. If you got a next gen console, I would definitely buy the version with both of them. Because when I played, I did feel like they've talked a lot about the AI getting a big buff with dynamic gameplay on next gen. They haven't talked about anything about previous gen, so I don't think previous gen will get a lot of large improvements for that. And I still think you'll be able to exploit it a lot easier. And what are solos if not things that you need to exploit to get done quickly to get the rewards, right? That's why we grind solos. It's not necessarily that they're super fun. It's that we enjoy the reward at the end to build our team. So I definitely think next gen needs current gen. Current gen, you'll be fine on the solo grind. Obviously, gameplay wise, you're going to put all the focus on the next gen, so it might be worth looking for an upgrade if you're into online head to head, especially if you want to be comp. Comp is on next gen, but just that I think solos will be easier on current gen, and it's definitely worth something to get. Number 7, bold. This is going to be a bold take. I think you're going to see more screens, right? Screens have never, outside, I think last time screens were super good was like 15, 16 era. Now, we've seen screens in the past, but they talked about improving the AI. I saw a little bit of it during the beta. I think you're going to want to move more screens into your offense. Now, obviously, screens against a good user, they'll be able to diagnose it pretty soon, but like you can't use it like every single play. But I definitely think screens are something that you're going to see quite a bit more. It's you'd be like, oh, that's not a big take. Like, I mean, a bigger take would be like saying play action is going to be the meta. And I can't see that at the moment. I think play action will happen a little bit more next year than it has because, we haven't had a play action game in forever, if ever at all, because of how broken it's been for 10 years. So I do think screens, though, number 7, you'll see those a little bit more. Number 8, not bold take at all here, lukewarm. Some of the same core problems that we've been yelling at them for years about are still there, and we're still gonna be frustrated. We're still gonna be yelling about it all the way through the end of the game cycle. So many things that they focus on, like movement, are things that are not necessarily broken but are very controversial. They keep tuning that every single year for some reason, movement, but they don't like take a look at the things that we actually, like 90% of the audience, 100% of the audience agrees needs to be fixed. Like pursuit is awful. Guys will like break down. So like say your running back is moving forward in the hole, right? Say like me to you is going north to south in the hole, right? A guy will come, east west to hit him, and then he'll break down, and the running back will just run right past him. It's a frustrating feeling knowing that you got a guy in the hole to stop him free through the edge, unblocked, and then he'll kind of stop on the run game. And it's very frustrating. There's going to be a lot of plays like that not necessarily with great run plays, but because of how bad the defense pursues, they'll turn into great run plays. And it's very frustrating right there. Offensive line, defensive line interactions are still the basis of much frustration. They straight up miss pass rushers. They straight up miss guys in the open field on the run. The offensive line does. And it's very frustrating to see. So I do think there are some things that definitely got improved, like the catching things. I think there's an opportunity for rocket catching to come back with the way they've tuned two-man interactions. But it is like a lot of people like it because it's more skill-based or whatever to rocket catch over somebody because you can outmaneuver them. But it is kind of like a boring way of playing football if all you do is throw the ball deep and then swerve your guy. You don't actually have any, like, strategy there. So I think there's a potential for that with the less of two-man interactions on catching there. So number 8 is, kind of a lukewarm take. We'll still be frustrated by the game. Number 9, the game will be more offensive than defensive focused early on, at least. We might see some patches, obviously. But the next gen game on 21 was insane with heavy backs. What's nice about this year's game is that, like, if you go against a runner, you can then switch your abilities mid-game. It, of course, will be more expensive to do this, to have abilities on multiple players. So, like, you'll have to, like, activate your backups and then put them in the lead spot. But basically, I think, like, you can go over to run game abilities quite heavy in 22 at halftime. In 21, you kind of had to commit to it on next gen because the run is so powerful. Like with Derrick Henry, just like 4 yards and a cloud of dust before he turns into 80-yard runs. And then, so we'll see what kind of what happens there, right? With the ability payoff, right? Because if you face a run in the first half, they probably run in the second half because these guys can't pass. So the beta, I will say, wasn't nearly as bad as next gen Madden 21 for running. I think guys got better sheds. I think they moved in the hole a little bit better. But the user nerf does mean it's going to be harder to fill gaps and shoot gaps and kind of make up for bad defensive line, linebacker pursuit, safety pursuit. And linebackers basically stay flat-footed a lot of times until they're impacted by the guard 4 yards into the hole because it can't read run for some weird reason. And then, like, I do think, like, the pass game will be better, right, than you've played current gen Madden, and especially 21. Like, it was zone still reacting with guys not cutting very well. I think the pass game will be better. I will say the zones are definitely improved. But I do think pass game will be pretty easy. Like, the only way I was able to get a lot of stops on next gen and the beta was like if somebody just fumbled the ball, or you make a mistake making a read, which you could obviously say, obviously, if you made a mistake making a read, that's the only way you get stopped in 21 also on the pass. But, like, it's a lot easier to not make mistakes because the guys are moving so much slower, right? So it's like kind of like on rookie difficulty when guys are moving at a turtle's pace. It's a lot easier to see open green grass versus guys shooting like lightning out there, and you have to make like quick decisions like that. You can kind of make decisions like that now. So you take a little bit longer there to make the decision, and that makes it a little easier to not turn the ball over. So I think the thing will be more offense early on than defense, unless a crazy blitz is found, and there might be. We always seem to find one, 3-5 odd and etc. 146. Number 10, MUT will consume our life, and franchise players will still hate franchise mode. I think franchise is definitely getting looked at. I think it's positive stats, but man, the franchise community, they've been burned so long. I can see why they're so angry about it. We'll see, obviously, when they have the scouting in September or so, when they say. I don't think I think, like, things are not built out enough, like skill trees. There needs to be like 10 times as many options for the skill trees in franchise. I want skill trees on MUT cards, right? Why aren't we able to parallel the cards and get skill trees on them, right? I want that more. Some other bold predictions that aren't really bold at all. Linebackers still ain't it unless the run game comes meta and safeties aren't holding up. But like Isaiah Simmons is a 6'4", like 230-pound safety, and a lot of linebackers running out there are about 230 also now. So it's really kind of like, we're still going to see a lot of safeties at linebacker positions. Servers will still have trouble. I think we'll see a little bit more 0-1 trap in 22, although we saw quite a bit in 21. That's not really a bold prediction. I think 0-1 trap will still be a part of the meta pretty heavy, at least early on, until we decide, like, hey, let's go to big nickel and try and shoot this gap again for it. So those are my 10 bold predictions, some of them more bold than others. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what bold predictions you have in the comment section below. That's it. Please like the video. Really helps out the channel. Subscribe.
We're trying to get up to 100K this year. We've been doing this 6 years and still haven't gotten there. We're really lagging behind, and we're really pushing for that this year. So appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching Call to Action. I will see you tomorrow.